playing devil's advocate. A businessman who's a CEO of a corporation who's got to meet the needs of his shareholders, how can he as a business leader go back to his shareholders and say, we need to reframe the business in terms of the holistic perspective, and by the way, there may not be quite as much dividend for you? How can a business leader make the case to the shareholders that he's indebted to?
So it's a question of where the business positions itself. Now what you're asking is, of course, a very difficult question to answer. I recall being in a little village in South Africa, and there was a shop in that little village that sold toys. The cheapest plastic disposable rubbish you can imagine. Mainly made you know where. And there was a part of me that thought, why do the people even bother to come to this shop? Just outside of that village was a little township, a location, where some of the poorest of the poor lived. And then I became aware that their children can't afford anything better than those cheap plastic, bright-coloured bits of stuff. For those children it's meaningful. And so when we then look at where a business locates itself, it really then can be defined in a series of values. It can be defined in terms of what the value need is that the business is wanting to satisfy. And so there are a number of models around this. But as already alluded to, certain of those values are survival values. What do we simply need to buy in order to survive, food-wise, etc.? Some of those values are entertainment values. How do we pass out time? So if you look at some of the television programs, you'll see there's an entire marketplace for violence and sex. It addresses a kind of marketplace. And so there are those businesses that are going to address that marketplace, and as long as that state of consciousness is there, somebody's going to fill the gap. We're not going to be able to talk to all of those people. But we do want to extend an invitation to business leaders to say, what is the value need that your business is capable of addressing in terms of what I've already described as the deeper view of the human person? And what we can begin to then contemplate is that in our collective social arrangements, be they governmental or be they civil society driven or be they interest group driven, we can start creating an informed community of purchasers, an informed marketplace. We can create discerning purchasers. So it will then enable the business to say, what I have to offer, I'm going to offer to such a way that people see it as providing genuine value and being able to attract that kind of marketplace. Now, is there any prospect for that in the world? The statistics already emerging from the stock exchanges where they have companies that fall within the category of green companies that function according to very defined sustainable criteria. You'll find that their growth rate has been sustained, but the swings between peaks and troughs have been much, much less defined than those that are not, which wants to suggest that your investor, the shareholders that are looking for long-term investment, who are prepared to invest in your sustainable economies, seem to be in it for the longer term rather than for the quick buck. And so the challenge then to the business leader, notwithstanding that at the moment their business might be the quick buck, would be to say, where's our next evolutionary step? I as a business leader, where do I wish to take this company? And in taking this company to that new place, who am I becoming in the doing of that? It is a call to conscience by business leadership, and it's a call to conscience that is based on business as an exchange of value rather than business as an opportunity for a quick profit. I want to suggest that given the powerful role of social media in the world currently, given the more apparent implications of environmental despoilation, of social inequality, given the greater articulation of peoples enabled through social media, we are going to get more discerning consumers, we're going to get more empowered interest groups, we're going to have business leaders that are starting to question their own long-term viability and their own ethics in terms of how they deliver what they deliver as product to a discerning community of purchasers.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
I think we'll stop there and then we'll just